It's kind of like eating an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, I guess. Well, good morning. Here we are. It's been a week now since I finished this, and today I've got to do the driver's side upper shock mount. This video certainly is not going to be as long and detailed as the last one, because I'm basically doing what I did last week again on this same set of parts. However, I did want to get on here and just talk about what I did last week, and I guess talk about my shortcomings. There's a lot of welding on this thing, and I could probably have MIG welded it, got it done a lot sooner. It took me nearly an entire weekend to build this one because I'm slow. Although I've been TIG welding for a while, I'm certainly no expert, and I'm certainly not good at it. Now, when I say I'm not good at it, I'm not concerned about it coming apart, and I'm not concerned about the welds being viable. I'm my own worst critic, and I'm just mostly concerned about the way it looks. Yeah, it probably doesn't look too bad, but there's definitely areas I can improve on, and this thing's going to be painted. Certainly, most likely won't be painted in black, because black shows everything, but it'll be painted, and it's definitely not going to be a focal point on the buggy. However, always trying to improve and learn and do things better. I think on this next one, I'm going to focus more on getting the parts absolutely clean. I didn't wipe this one down with acetone. I will wipe these parts down with acetone because they've been sitting now for a week and things have had a chance to get oxidized or generally rusted or whatever. It's been raining here all week, so there's definitely moisture in the air. And the other thing I'm probably going to focus on is trying to get myself just a little bit more comfortable bringing the part closer to me so that I can see exactly what I'm doing, instead of being 2.5 feet or whatever the distance is from my helmet to the work surface here, being up closer to me, so I can see that weld puddle and the arc and my arc distance or arc length a little bit closer. So yeah, if you're not into talking and you just want to see me working, this is probably not the video for you. Probably should move on, but thought I'd get on here and just talk about the real stuff. This is what I think about, and like I said, definitely not perfect, but it'll hold. And I thought about going back over all these welds and just making them prettier, but I'm not going to do that. It is what it is, and it's just part of the journey. So the other thing I did want to mention is I do have the water cooler coming for this. It should be here today. I've been TIG welding for a couple of years now with just a 17 torch, no water cooler. And that was one of the reasons why I got this newer welder, because the other welder I had, which was a Diversion 180, is just your basic entry-level welder. It's a very nice welder, but it's proprietary in that you can't change the torch lead out. You can't set up a water cooler to it, not easily anyway, not without opening up the case and modifying things. What I've learned with the 17 torch and the type of welding that I've been doing, especially the heavier 3/16 steel, is that torch just gets awfully hot. and I'm pushing that torch to the limits. I think those things are supposed to only be good for like 130 amps, and I had the other machine maxed out at 180, and although I wasn't using all of it, I was welding at higher amperage for longer periods of time, especially when I was doing the steering knuckles and stuff. So that's going to be interesting. That'll be fun. Get that water cooler in here and get that set up on this machine and switch over to a water-cooled torch, and we'll see what kind of differences that make. I think the other thing I want to do is just work on my timing and my speed. Maybe put some music on so I have more of a rhythm. The scapegoat for that would be to weld with pulse settings on, which that machine is capable of. But I think I need to do it the old-fashioned way with the pedal, and I can even do pedal pulse, which I've done in the past on heavier stuff. Yeah, so that's where we're at today. This video is going to be probably shorter. Might do a little time lapse on this, but mostly that's all I wanted to visit about. Been a little bit under the weather, kind of stuffed up, but I'm out here. These parts are pretty much prepped and ready to go. Like I said, I'm going to clean them up a little bit more, and we'll get to welding. All right, here we go. All right, so I got this long back spline section tacked in. Now I'm just trying to bolt this thing up so I can get this thing sucked down on this front piece. So far everything's going good. Torch is working good. I took and I sharpened these tungstens out to more of a point this time. I had been using more of a blunt, not as high of an angle, and it's really helping me get that heat where I want it, especially for the tacks that I'm doing, you know, over here on this side. But so far, vibing, got some good music on. Very thankful for everything. I just sit back and reflect on all the stuff that I've done and all the work and time I've put into this thing, and it's all good. It's kind of like eating an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, I guess. But like I said, this video is just going to be me rambling about all the stuff I'm doing. So anyway, I get this sucked down and then tack this up. Alright, so I got this tacked in. Went really well. It's almost as if I've done this before. Kind of crazy. So now I gotta work on plating this in. So I think I'll start with this piece right here. Hopefully I've got it nailed with the right length here. Ooh. That's a negative. Maybe I'll start with this one then. That one's a little bit too long. Yeah, some adjustment. Some adjustment needs to be done. It's all right. Alright, well, it's the morning of the next day. This thing's been sitting overnight. Got it all welded out. I didn't have very much footage with the GoPro. This is not a GoPro, it's a GoPro knockoff that I've been using for a while. The batteries don't last very long on it. I did buy a genuine GoPro, but I had trouble with it. I had to send it in for warranty replacement. And they still haven't sent me a replacement back. It's been over a week. I'm kind of disappointed in them. Anyway, so in the last one, although I had these spacers in here, after I got the spacers out, which I had to knock out with this brass drift, the whole mount closed up. So what I did was I used this I cut a piece of all thread and some nuts and kind of pushed it back open. This space in here has got to be an inch and a half. I'd like it to be just slightly bigger than an inch and a half for the shock mount, but yeah, that's what it's got to be. And with all the welding and all the heat and everything, it does what it does. It moves around quite a bit. This mount, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with I did the fusion weld on here, obviously. And the welding, I mean, again, I could be super critical of myself, but I got my heat right. I feel like everything's shiny. It's just getting that consistent, feeding the rod in there, getting consistent with my movement, being more fluid. There's areas where it's a little better. There's areas where it's not so good. I got the cooler for the welder and switched over to a 20 torch or water-cooled torch, so I didn't have to stop as much. I probably, you know, like on this long run in the back here, I probably only stopped twice, and that was just to reposition myself. A lot of time. It was a lot of welding, but I'm enjoying it and learning, so that's what it's all about. So get this taken off of here, and we'll see what kind of challenges this presents. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to knock these out with the drift, and I'll do that off camera because it's going to be pretty noisy. So